This just in. An update on March 20th, 2013, when South Korean computer systems went down from cyber attacks supposedly caused by North Korea and Kim Jong-un. Again in 2014, South Korea was attacked and power plants went down. The data and viruses used were just released, and it has been analyzed that the codes were very advanced and would have taken lots of planning.
These viruses were made to infect as many computers as possible as fast as possible, and on a set day destroy as many computers and devices as possible. If the virus would have found financial data, it could have been a very bad thing. Starting off with the physical geography of South Korea, we'll take a look at the major physical features list. Overall, South Korea is very mountainous. Its three main mountain ranges are the Taebaek, Sobaek, and Jiri Mountains. Those mountains run in order north to south and mostly in the center of the country, east and west-wise. Moving on to rivers now. Rivers in South Korea are short and fast-moving. They also flow west to east and feed into the Yellow Sea. Two major rivers are the Kum and Han rivers that flow into the longest river in South Korea, the Nakton River. Some hydroelectric power is harnessed from these rivers. They are rather important.
Now for climate. South Korea's climate is very distinct between seasons. There's cold winters, hot humid summers. The climate is dominated by the seasonal monsoons. The cold and drier winter winds that come from Siberia drop the temperature to a freezing 20 to 30 degrees. In the summer, it is warm and wet because the wind comes from the south over the warm ocean water. In the summer, the temperatures range from 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Looking at the rainfall, the average during the summer is 250 to 380 milliliters, and the rest of the year it stays between 25 and 100 milliliters of rain. This climate creates a very green, forested country. This vegetation is almost completely mixed forests. The types of trees and forest varies with elevation. It makes for a very pretty country.
The population of South Korea is mostly in the Middle Ages right now, and they need to prepare for a wave of elderly people. Most of the people live in the northwest and southeast regions of the country because these areas are abundant rivers and flat land. Also, there is access to the ocean in these areas.
We can tell from the population indicators that South Korea is definitely a more developed country. We learned this from the high life expectancy, 79.5, which means good health care. Also, the literacy rate is good, 97%, which means good education system. And finally, the GDP is 1.13 trillion, which is very good for a smaller country.
South Korea became a country controlled by the U.S. after World War II. In 1948, it became its own country after the U.S. appointed Syngman Rhee as the president and set up the Republic of Korea. In 1950, North Korea communists invaded South Korea. This started the Korean War. The war never actually ended, but a ceasefire was signed as well as the 38th paragraph. South Korea went through 6 distinct major republics/regimes. Basically, it started with an extremely democratic government, then went to a normal democratic republic, but it still collapsed. After 2 eras of failing governments, militarized government styles emerged and hung there for a while. 3 eras of governments. The governments finally quit changing so much after it shifted one last time to a more moderate liberal democracy.
South Korea has since been improving, especially in education and economy, and has gone from poverty to reasonable wealth since the 60s. South Korea's government is a democracy, and a lot like the U.S. government. They have a 3-branch system with judicial, executive, and legislative branch. The legislative branch is an assembly of 300 members that are elected by the people to serve 4 years of passing bills. The judicial branch is basically the court system, just like the U.S. has. The executive branch is led by the president and also consists of the cabinet members who are not elected by the people. The president is elected by the people and has the same powers as the president of the United States. The president of South Korea is Park Geun-hye. She was elected in 2013. The cabinet members make up a committee of 15 to 30 people. South Korea's government runs off a checks and balance system, just like the U.S., and has a constitution.
Now on to the culture of South Korea. Some common types of food are kimchi, teokkabokki, and hangover stew. Teo kabaki is a dish of steamed and sliced rice cakes, teo, cooked with fish cakes, odon, and scallions in a sweet and spicy sauce made of chili paste. Some customs of South Korea include: family is the most important thing here. The father is always the head of a house and must provide all needs and improve marriages. Actions of individuals heavily reflect on the family. Confucianism is a very prominent and the main source of moral code. Bowing and shaking hands are often common for greetings.
Some common activities include taekwondo, football, baseball, golf, diving, swimming, boating, water sports, hiking, fishing, rock climbing, skiing, and biking. The main religions of South Korea are Buddhism, Protestantism, and Roman Catholicism. However, the majority of people are non-religious in South Korea. Buddhism is 22.8% of all of the religions. Buddhism involves no gods, was started by Siddhartha Gautama in 536 BC, involves reincarnation, and says that if you follow Buddhist teachings, you will go to nirvana. Protestants, which is 18.3%, is a form of Christianity in which followers believe in the teachings of Jesus and that faith in the resurrection of Jesus leads to heaven. It was started in Germany and is considered by many the heirs of Catholicism. Catholicism is 10.9% and teaches that it is the one true church founded by Jesus, that its bishops and successors of Jesus Christ's apostles, and that the Pope is the successor of St. Peter. Non-religious, which is 46.5%, is the belief in no religion.